I'm sure a lot of you have seen images like Smile Dog and wondered what exactly the original looked like. Well, today we're going to cover the possible origins of some of these images. I posted on the community tab asking for some subjects for videos, and this is one of the ones that I decided to pick so far. Thank you to the person who suggested it, and let's get into the video. Oh, and by the way, click the link in the description and pinned comment to get Atlas VPN for a massive 82% discount on a 3-year subscription, only $1.99 a month with a 30-day money-back guarantee. It helps me out a lot. We'll get more into that later though. The Rake is a pretty creepy cryptid that most creepypasta fans know very well, but I'm sure that a lot of people don't actually know where the famous image of said monster came from. Well, first let's get into the origins of the story, and then I'll cover where the image more than likely came from. 17 years ago, in 2005, some people on the B-board and 4chan decided to make a new monster. You know, as you do. To quote the Creepypasta Files wiki word for word, the thread started with this post. Alright, this is for the people who like the 3 eyes, no apparent mouth, pale skin one. Here's what we've got so far. Humanoid, about 6 feet tall when standing, but usually crouches and walks on all fours. Has very pale skin. The face is blank, as in no nose, no mouth. However, it has 3 solid green eyes. One in the middle of its forehead and the other 2 on the side of its head, towards the back. Usually seen in front yards in suburban areas. Usually just watches the observer, but will stand up and attack if approached. When it attacks, a mouth opens up as if a hinged skull that opens up at the chin. Reveals many tiny but dull teeth. The creature eventually formed into what we know now as the Rake. After that, it went through multiple revisions before a popular story about said creature was posted on the Something Awful forums in 2006. Eventually, the story would spread thanks to 4chan's X-board, Something Awful, and the Creepypasta wiki. Alright, now you're caught up. So, back to the image. It looks like some type of hairless humanoid creature that was captured on a trail cam. So, was this effects? Was it just someone in a costume and makeup? Or could it have been the real deal? Well, the answer is pretty simple. This infamous image is actually from an advertising campaign for the game Resistance 3. The creature in the game is a Grim, one of the monsters from the game. It was a really popular hoax back in 2010, started by an alleged hunter posting that he saw the creature while he was lying in the bushes. Despite being terrified, he was apparently able to get the image of the creature off of the camera's memory card. Several websites and publications would report on the image, including the Daily Mail, who, according to PlayStationLifestyle.net, thought the picture could be of Spider-Man of all people for some reason. This next image is one that's not as commonly seen before, which makes its origins even more obscure. Let me get into the backstory first. In 2018, a young man who will remain anonymous was emailed an odd link. After clicking on it, he found it weird that absolutely nothing happened. After a bit, he kind of forgot about it. However, what he didn't know was that someone had actually grabbed his IP address. And what grabbed it wasn't human. At all. In fact, it was something akin to Smile Dog, a demon that mainly exists through media. This one in fact existed through video. This image is a screenshot from the video that I'll go on to describe. One day he received a mysterious video file simply called look.wmv. When opening the video, the man was greeted with the creature saying that it was already on its way to him. In terror, the man began to lock every single door and window he could and turned off all of his technology, barricading himself in his room. Over the period of days and weeks, he waited, only moving when absolutely necessary. Somehow, months later, nothing had happened. And that's when he realized something. The creature had gone to someone else's house because the IP it grabbed wasn't his. Thankfully, he had a VPN. Not only did this VPN, Atlas VPN by the way, stop ads and malware, but it also worked at really high speeds, so well in fact that it had slipped his mind that he was even using it. After all, he always had it on multiple devices so he could watch shows he couldn't get access to in his home country due to geo restrictions, and even better, he can watch commercials from other countries on YouTube, which just happens to also be my favorite pastime for some reason. He was also able to save money on the food and supplies that he shipped himself while he wasn't leaving his house, because he was able to always find the best deals online due to pricing being adjusted for different regions, and he was able to save money thanks to clicking on the link in Girisco's description and pinned comment, if you're able to of course, which granted him an 82% off 3-year subscription for $1.99 a month with a 30-day money-back guarantee for a limited time. By the time that the creature realized it had made a mistake, he was able to move away to a different country before using Atlas VPN again. Sadly, it was the same country that the creature was already in, so he's hiding again, but hey, at least he doesn't have to worry about malware, right? Also, if you actually watched through this part, thank you so much. I tried to make it as entertaining as possible, but back to the real entries. This is one I already know people are going to be asking about, so let's just get it out of the way. Smile Dog. Smile Dog's origins, like many things, are traced back to 4chan, specifically the X board in this case. The earliest creepypasta post I could personally find was from 2010 as well, so the image is over 10 years old either way. The well-known and creepy image is something that has genuinely creeped out a lot of people, including myself. I talk about that more on my second channel, by the way. If someone comes into contact with the image, they'll suddenly have a huge urge to spread it to everyone they know. The reason for this is because if you don't, he'll pay you a visit. The dog is supposedly some type of demon or evil spirit that will haunt the victim worse and worse until it turns into its true form and takes their life. Unless, of course, they spread the image. Speaking of the image, where does it come from? Well, there are technically 3 images, and sadly, I only have a possible origin for one at the moment. Here are the 2 that I have nothing for. If you have any info on what the original unedited images are somehow, feel free to let me know. However, this one, I have something for. Now, it's not much, but it's something. Reddit user NotHurtingAnyone5678 posted an image of this husky with the caption, "I think I found one of the images used to make Smile Dog. The eyes and facial markings look the same." While comparing the 2 images, I had to agree that the eyes and markings did look eerily similar. The only issue is that the dog in the picture is clearly not in front of a red curtain, which actually doesn't mean anything in this case. All they would have to do is only crop out the Malamute, while only going around its head, because as you can see in the image, the ears have clearly been cropped out as well, and then put it on a red curtain background. Add some filters and a creepy smile, and there you go. Eyeless Jack is a pretty popular story with an even more popular image. For those who don't know, Eyeless Jack was a story that was first posted to the Creepypasta Wiki in 2012 by Azel5000. The story is about a guy named Mitch and his interactions with Eyeless Jack. His first encounter causes him to wake up with a gash in his cheek and he's rushed to the hospital. But that's not all. After he gets there, his shirt is pulled up only to reveal that there's a sewn up incision where his left kidney used to be. I guess he didn't notice it. The doctor then says, "You somehow lost your left kidney last night. We don't know how though. Sorry, Mitch." Great doctor. The next night, he wakes up to see the infamous Eyeless Jack image that many of us have seen before. Like anyone would, he decides to quickly take a picture before the creature attacks him and he escapes. After getting sent to the hospital again, he finds out his brother has passed away. When he came back to the house to get his things, he found his brother's corpse in his room with something lying next to it. Following the most logical course of action, Mitch decides to pick the thing up, and it's a half-eaten kidney. So that's all well and good, but who or what exactly is this image of? Well, for once the answer is actually on Twitter of all places. Trevor Henderson posted an image with the caption, "Eyeless Jack," and a user called Pirate Cashew claimed they made the original image. For proof, they posted an HD render of the image never seen before, therefore solidifying that they created the image. Their friend just took a picture and they used Photoshop on it. That may sound a little anticlimactic, but honestly it's still pretty cool that this image had so much influence and was probably able to scare a good few people. These 2 images are probably things you've seen before. They seem perfectly normal until you notice something lurking in the background. A tall, gaunt creature with tendrils and no face. It seems like nobody else notices it. Of course, everyone knows that this is Slender Man. For anyone who somehow doesn't know, Slender Man is an urban legend or cryptid that stalks its prey while causing a lot of different negative psychological effects. It also causes photograph and video distortion, as well as having the ability to seemingly teleport at will. It's typically depicted in a suit with a pale, white, featureless face, similar to a Naparabo, and has gone on to spawn a lot of popular media like games and movies. The origins of the story of Slender Man also uncover the origins of these popular images. Back in June of 2009, a Paranormal Pictures Photoshop contest was launched on the Something Awful forums. A user called Victor Surge posted these 2 infamous photos with a brief description of what the Slender Man was. The descriptions of the pictures read, "We didn't want to go. We didn't want to kill them, but its persistent silence and outstretched arms horrified and comforted us at the same time. 1983. Photographer unknown, presumed dead." And one of the 2 recovered photographs from the Sterling City Library blaze, notable for being taken the day which 14 children vanished and for what is referred to as the Slender Man. Deformity cited as film defects by officials. Fire at library occurred 1 week later. Actual photograph confiscated as evidence. 1986. Photographer Mary Thomas, missing since June 13th, 1986. I guess it's only right that I talk about Jeff the Killer. After all, it's one of, if not the most famous creepypasta image, and it's also one that has been entrenched in mystery. I will admit that I'm surprised that Smile Dog hasn't been either, but I attribute it to the urban legends that have spawned around the origin of Jeff's image. At first, it was widely believed that the origin of Jeff's image was a photoshopped image of someone named Katie Robinson who posted her picture to 4chan. Allegedly, these people edited the image to make fun of her, and this caused her to end her own life. This is of course not true. In 2019, a YouTuber called Gage uploaded an interview with Heather White, the actual identity of Katie Robinson. It was clarified that her image had nothing to do with the aforementioned Jeff. 12 years earlier, however, a strange YouTube video was posted called NNN Broadcast Channel. The video briefly plays the image of Jeff at least a year before the image was associated with anything Jeff related. This same image was found again from a post in 2005 on the PR website by the user Mr. Omega Bolt. The image was photoshopped with Adobe Photoshop 6.0, which was released in 2000, so it's possible that the image could have been 5 years older. Even earlier in 2005, and rumored to also have been found in 2004, an image called White Powder was posted to places like 2chan. According to Twitter user Miyama, the origins of the image trace back to a video of a middle-aged woman that used to be spread around. A screen cap of the video was allegedly edited into the White Powder image that was then allegedly edited into the Jeff image that we all know. Although the original video hasn't been found yet, it probably won't be long until everything has been uncovered.